I'm standing across the yard watching my brother Kalen hold court in his lawn chair like some kind of birthday king. 30 years old today, and he's never worked an honest week in his life. The string lights we hung this afternoon cast everyone in a warm glow that feels like a lie. Barbecue smoke mixes with the burning wood in the fire pit, and 20 relatives laugh at something Kalen just said. My wine glass stops halfway to my lips when I see Alara. She's 12, my whole world, and she's walking toward Kalen with a wrapped box clutched in her trembling hands. I know what's in that box. I've watched her work on it for 6 months, hiding in her room after homework, fabric paint staining her fingers. She wouldn't let me see the finished product, said it had to be a surprise. Uncle Kalen, Alara whispers. Her voice barely carries over the crackling fire. I made this for you. Kalen takes the box without looking at her. He's already drunk. I can tell by the way he's slouching. He tears through the wrapping paper like a toddler, and when he pulls out the denim jacket, I feel my chest tighten with pride. It's beautiful, vintage denim covered in hand-painted designs. Music notes flowing across one shoulder. A classic car on the back, detailed enough that I can see the chrome. Logos from his favorite bands circling the collar. Every brushstroke showing the hours she spent, the care she took. Kalen holds it up for 3 seconds. What is this cheap junk? His sneer cuts through the evening air. Did you get this at Goodwill? The yard goes quiet. Even the fire seems to stop crackling. I painted it, Alara says. It took me. Kalen throws the jacket. It sails through the air in a perfect arc, and I'm already moving before it lands directly in the fire pit. Flames catch the fabric immediately, devouring 6 months of my daughter's love in seconds. Alara screams and lunges forward. No! I'm running, but she's closer. Her small hand reaches into the fire pit, trying to save what's already lost, and her arm hits the metal rim. The sound of her flesh sizzling makes my stomach turn. She pulls back, cradling her arm, and the smell of burned skin reaches me. God, always so dramatic, Kalen mutters, rolling his eyes. I reach Alara and drop to my knees beside her. The burn on her forearm is already blistering, angry red skin that's going to scar. She's sobbing, not from the pain but from watching her creation turn to ash. Alara, stop making a scene. My mother's voice. Deirdre Vaughn, master of the guilt trip, walking over with my father Arlo trailing behind her. It's your uncle's birthday. I look up at them, really look at them. At Deirdre in her new blouse that I paid for. At Arlo avoiding eye contact like he always does when Kalen crosses a line. A memory hits me hard. I'm 8 years old, showing off my new bike, shiny red with a white basket. I saved my allowance for a year. Then 5-year-old Kalen starts crying because he wants it, and suddenly I'm handing over my bike because big sisters share, and family takes care of family. I've been giving him things ever since. My salary as senior data analyst at Data Tech Solutions is $145,000 a year. $1,800 of that goes to my parents' rent every month. $500 for their utilities. Then there are Kalen's business ventures. The vape shop that failed. The crypto scheme. The food truck that lasted 3 weeks. $67,000 over 3 years. And I have the bank statements to prove it. I've been their ATM. Their safety net. Their solution to every problem. But Alara is crying, and her arm is burned, and nobody in this yard full of relatives is doing anything but looking uncomfortable. I set my wine glass down on the grass with deliberate care. The kind of precision I use at work when I'm about to deliver bad news to a client. We're leaving, I say. Marissa. Deirdre's voice has that warning tone, the one that used to make me cave immediately. You're overreacting. She's fine. I scoop Alara up without responding. She's 12 but small for her age, and she tucks her head against my shoulder. Her tears soak through my shirt. Marissa. My father finally speaks. Don't embarrass us like this. I look at him. At all of them. 20 relatives who watched a grown man throw a child's gift into a fire and did nothing. My keys are in my pocket. I dig them out with one hand while holding Alara with the other. Mom? Alara whispers against my neck. It hurts. I know, baby. We're going to the hospital. Kalen laughs from his lawn chair. Actually laughs. She barely touched it. Stop being so sensitive. Something inside me that's been bending for 41 years finally snaps. Not with a dramatic crack, but with a quiet, definitive click, like a door locking from the inside. I don't say another word. Not to Kalen, not to my parents, Not to anyone. I walk across the yard with Alara in my arms, and the only sound is my car keys jangling and my daughter's soft sobs. Behind me, Deirdre calls out something about me ruining the party, about being selfish, about disappointing the family. I open the back door of my Honda CR-V and help Alara inside. Her burned arm needs to be elevated. I grab a sweater from the front seat and gently wrap it around her shoulders. "We're okay," I tell her. "We're going to be okay." When I back out of the driveway, I see them all standing there in the glow of the string lights. My mother with her arms crossed, my father looking at his shoes, Kaylin already reaching for another beer. 20 relatives watching me leave, and not one of them follows. At the hospital, the emergency room fluorescent lights are cruel. They show every detail I don't want to see. The way Alara's face is still blotchy from crying, the angry red burn wrapped around her forearm, the dried blood on my shirt collar where she pressed her face against me in the car. Doctor Matthews is maybe 50, gray at the temples, and he's examining Alara's arm with the kind of careful attention that makes my throat tight. His fingers are gentle as he measures the burn. "Second degree," he says. The blistering extends 4 inches along her inner forearm. How did this happen? He's looking at me now, not Alara. "My uncle threw my art project in a fire," Alara says before I can answer. Her voice is small. I tried to get it out. Dr. Matthews' jaw tightens. He sets down his measuring tape and pulls up a stool, sitting so he's eye level with both of us. I need to explain something. His tone is serious, the kind doctors use when delivering bad news. When a child is injured due to reckless adult behavior, I'm what's called a mandatory reporter. That means I'm required by law to contact the authorities. My stomach drops. The authorities? Child Protective Services. And the police. He looks at Alara, then back at me. "I will make the calls. They'll want to speak with you both." Alara's good hand finds mine and grips tight. "My uncle didn't mean to hurt me," she whispers. "Intent doesn't matter, doctor," Matthews says gently. "What matters is that you were hurt, and it could have been prevented." My phone starts buzzing in my pocket. I pull it out and the screen lights up with notifications. 14 missed calls, 23 text messages, all from the same group chat, Vaughn family. I open the text because I can't help myself. "Mom, where did you take Alara? We need to talk about this." "Dad, Marissa, answer your phone." "Kaylin, you're being ridiculous." "Mom, you embarrassed us in front of everyone." "Kaylin, it was a joke. She's fine." "Dad, call us back now." The messages keep coming, filling the screen. I scroll through them while Dr. Matthews works on Alara's arm, applying some kind of gel that makes her wince. Then I see the one from my father that makes everything crystallize. "Dad, you're embarrassing this family. Get back here and apologize to your brother." Apologize. To Kaylin. For taking my burned daughter to the hospital. I stare at those words until they blur. Alara's uninjured hand is still holding mine, small and trusting, and something fundamental shifts in my chest. Not the snap from earlier. This is quieter. This is me finally seeing clearly after 41 years of fog. Dr. Matthews is explaining wound care, saying something about keeping it dry and watching for infection, but I'm opening my banking app. My fingers know the password by muscle memory. I navigate to transaction history and start scrolling. 3 years of transfers line up on the screen like evidence at a crime scene. Kaylin's vape shop. $20,000, transferred in 4 installments last spring. The shop closed after 6 months. Kaylin's crypto investment scheme. $8,000. He promised me triple returns. I never saw a penny back. Kaylin's food truck. $15,000 for equipment and permits. It lasted 3 weeks before he got bored. Then there are my parents. $2,300 every month like clockwork. $1,800 for rent, $500 for utilities. But I remember Mom posting photos from that Caribbean cruise in July. I remember Dad buying a new riding mower in August. $67,000. The number sits on my screen, undeniable. I screenshot everything, every transaction, every date, every amount. My finger moves automatically, saving each image to my photo library, then forwarding them all to my personal email. The kind that's not connected to any family member. The kind nobody else knows about. Doctor. Matthews is wrapping Alara's arm now, white gauze circling the burned skin. I open the Vaughn family group chat, and attach 2 screenshots. My last pay stub showing my salary at Data Tech Solutions, and a calculation I've been avoiding for years. Rent payments, utility payments, failed business ventures, every dollar listed with dates. My thumbs hover over the keyboard. I type, "The police are on their way. The ATM is closed. You are on your own." Send. I watch the blue check marks appear, showing everyone has read it. Then I scroll up through 3 years of messages. Every guilt trip, every manipulation. Every time they made me feel like I owed them something. I mute the chat. Then I block Deirdre's number, Arlo's number, Kaylin's number. The phone stops buzzing. "Mom?" Alara is looking at me with wide eyes. "What did you do?" Something I should have done a long time ago. My voice sounds steadier than I feel. There's a knock on the exam room door. A woman in slacks and a blazer steps in, holding a tablet. Behind her is a uniformed police officer, young enough to be my nephew, with kind eyes and a notebook. "Miss Lewis? I'm Sandra from Child Protective Services. This is Officer Morrison. We need to ask you some questions about tonight." I stand up, still holding Alara's hand. "I'll tell you everything," I say. And I do. The birthday party, the handmade jacket, Kaylin throwing it into the fire, Alara lunging after it, the burn, the family telling me I was overreacting. Every detail spills out in chronological order, the way I'd organize data at work. Officer Morrison writes it all down. Sandra's face remains carefully neutral, but I see her glance at Alara's bandaged arm more than once. "We'll need to speak with your brother," Officer Morrison says. "And your parents." Good luck with that. The words come out harder than I intend. They're probably still at the party. My phone buzzes. Not from the family group chat, since I muted that. This is a different notification, a voicemail from a number I don't recognize. I put it on speaker without thinking. "Marissa." Deirdre's voice fills the exam room. She must have borrowed someone's phone. "I don't know what you think you're accomplishing with this little tantrum, but you're tearing this family apart. Kaylin made a mistake. People make mistakes. That's what family does. We forgive. We move on. We don't run to lawyers and police like strangers." There's a pause, and I can hear her breathing. "Everything we've done for you. Every sacrifice. And this is how you repay us? By humiliating us? By abandoning us when we need you most?" The message ends. Sandra looks at me. Would you like me to save that?" "I already saved everything," I tell her. "Every text, every transaction, every voicemail, 3 years of documentation." Officer Morrison stops writing and looks up. "That's very thorough." "I'm a data analyst," I say simply. "Documentation is what I do." Alara squeezes my hand. Her eyes are heavy now, the pain medication Dr. Matthews gave her, finally taking effect. "Can we go home, Mom?" Home. Not back to the party. Not back to explain or apologize or smooth things over. Home. "Yes, baby," I tell her. "We can go home." The house is too quiet Sunday morning. Just the sound of Alara shifting in her sleep down the hall, restless even now. I'm sitting at the kitchen table with my second cup of coffee when my phone buzzes with an unknown number. I know better, but something makes me answer anyway. "Marissa." Arlo's voice. Not his own phone. It's Dad. "I know who you are. Kaylin's in jail. We need $5,000 for bail." Behind him, I hear Deirdre's theatrical sobbing, the kind that's performed for an audience, with just the right pitch of desperation. I can picture her dabbing at dry eyes with a tissue. "Do you hear your mother?" Arlo says. "She's falling apart. This is killing her." I take a sip of coffee. It's gone cold. "Marissa, are you there?" "Yes." "So you'll help? We can meet you at the bail bonds place in an hour. Your mother needs to see Kaylin home where he belongs." The entitlement in his voice is staggering. Like the past week never happened. Like Alara's burn isn't still wrapped in gauze down the hall. I disconnect without saying another word. The phone rings again immediately. Unknown number. I silence it and watch the screen light up twice more before it stops. 10 minutes later, my Ring doorbell camera sends an alert. I pull up the app on my phone and there they are. Arlo and Deirdre standing on my front porch like they have every right to be there. Deirdre is crying. Real tears this time, or at least real enough for the neighbors to see. She's wearing black like she's in mourning, and Arlo keeps putting his arm around her shoulders in a way that looks rehearsed. I watch them through my phone screen. Deirdre rings the doorbell 3 times. Then she starts talking, her voice carrying across the lawn. My own daughter won't even answer the door. Won't help her baby brother. I raised her better than this. A jogger slows down to look. Mrs. Rodriguez from next door comes out to water her plants even though it's barely 8 in the morning. They stay for 45 minutes. Deirdre alternates between crying and calling my name. Arlo tries the doorknob twice. At one point, Deirdre sits down on the porch, steps and puts her face in her hands, shoulders shaking. It's Mrs. Rodriguez who calls the police. I see her on her phone, gesturing toward my house, her face set in angry lines. The patrol car pulls up 12 minutes later. Arlo spots it first and touches Deirdre's shoulder. She stands up slowly, wiping her eyes, and they walk to their car with dignity. Like they're the victims here. Like they're just a concerned family who got turned away. They're gone before the officer reaches my door. My phone buzzes with a text from Arlo an hour later. I read it while Alara picks at her breakfast across from me, her burned arm resting on a pillow. You did this. We're going to be homeless. I set the phone face down on the counter. Alara looks up at me, her eyes too old for 12. Was that them? Yes. What did they want? Money. She goes back to pushing scrambled eggs around her plate. She hasn't touched her bacon. When I reach over to light the stove to heat up some tea, she flinches at the click of the ignition. The eggs go into the trash. I don't comment on it. That afternoon, I call Dr. Sarah Williams. Her receptionist can fit Alara in on Tuesday. I take the appointment and add it to my calendar with the same efficiency I use for work meetings. Tuesday evening, Alara comes out of her first therapy session with red eyes. Doctor. Williams walks her to the waiting room and gives me a look that says everything without words. Same time next week, Dr. Williams says gently. In the car, Alara stares out the window. We're halfway home when she finally speaks. Did I do something wrong? My hands tighten on the steering wheel. What? With the jacket. Was it not good enough? I pull into a parking lot and put the car in park, turn to face her. You did nothing wrong. Not one single thing. Then why did he? Because he's broken inside. And broken people break things. That's not your fault. She nods, but I can tell she doesn't believe me yet. Her art supplies are still untouched in the corner of her room. I saw them this morning when I went to wake her up. Wednesday brings Aunt Cheryl. I don't recognize the Arizona number, so I answer thinking it might be work-related. Marissa, honey. Her voice drips with false concern. Your mother called me. She's devastated. I'm sure she is. Now I know there's been some family drama, but family takes care of family. Your parents raised you. They sacrificed so much. And Kalen, well, he's just going through a rough patch. We all need help sometimes. The speech sounds rehearsed. Probably because it is. I can hear Deirdre's words coming out of Cheryl's mouth. I'm protecting my daughter. This conversation is over. I hang up before she can respond. Thursday changes everything. Jennifer Morgan calls me back. I found her through the domestic violence resources the hospital gave us, and I wasn't sure she'd take the case. But her voice is crisp and professional when she speaks. I'm taking this pro bono. I've seen cases like this before. We're filing for a restraining order against your entire family. The whole family? Your parents enabled the assault. Your brother committed it. Anyone who contacts you on their behalf becomes part of the harassment pattern. We're building a wall, Marissa. A legal wall they can't climb over. That same afternoon, I freeze both mine and Alara's credit reports. Jennifer walks me through it on the phone, explaining how my mother, knowing our social security numbers, makes us vulnerable. Identity theft is common in these situations, she says. Financial abuse doesn't stop just because you cut off access. The security system gets installed Friday morning. Cameras at every entrance. Motion sensors. A panic button by my bed. The technician shows me how to access everything from my phone. You'll get alerts for any movement, he explains. You can review footage going back 30 days. Friday afternoon, my work phone rings. Harrison. Marissa? Got a minute? I close my office door. Of course. The director position. It's yours if you want it. $175,000 base salary. You've earned this. I sit down hard in my desk chair. $30,000 more a year. Money that used to go to my family's rent, their utilities, They're emergencies that were never really emergencies. I want it. I say, "Congratulations. Paperwork will be ready Monday." That night, Alara is having another nightmare. I hear her crying through the wall and go to her room. She's tangled in her sheets, whimpering about fire. I sit on the edge of her bed and smooth her hair back. She wakes up slowly, her eyes focusing on me in the darkness. "Mom? I'm here. I dreamed the whole house was burning. All my drawings. Everything. Just a dream. We're safe." She burrows against my side, and I hold her until her breathing evens out. But I don't leave. I stay there, watching her sleep, thinking about the spreadsheet I made earlier. $1,800 for rent, $500 for utilities, countless loans that were never paid back, $67,000 over 3 years. I've been funding my own abuse, paying them to hurt us. The realization sits in my chest like a stone. It's almost 4 o'clock when my phone buzzes with a security alert. I'm back in my own room, reviewing the restraining order paperwork Jennifer sent over, when the notification lights up my screen. Motion detected at garage. I pull up the camera feed. The image is grainy in the darkness, but the motion-activated lights click on, and I see him clearly. Kalen. He's walking toward my garage with that distinctive swagger. The entitled roll of his shoulders. His hands are carrying something metal. A crowbar, maybe. Or a tire iron. He stops at the garage door and looks directly at the camera. Smiles. My finger hovers over 911 on my speed dial. My other hand is already taking screenshots, documenting everything. Evidence for Jennifer. Proof for the restraining order. Kalen raises the metal object and takes a step closer. I press call. 911. What is your emergency? There is an intruder at my garage, I whisper, my eyes glued to the screen. On the feed, the motion sensor floodlights blaze to life, blindingly bright. Kalen flinches, shielding his eyes. He spots the camera lens, creates a rude gesture, and stumbles backward. He turns and runs into the darkness, just as the distant wail of a siren cuts through the night. He got away. For now. The morning after Kalen's garage prowling, I sit at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee going cold between my hands. The police arrived 3 minutes too late last night. They took a report, patrolled the neighborhood, but he was gone. My phone shows 3:47 a.m. on the security camera footage, Kalen's distinctive swagger as he approached my garage. The metal tool in his hands catching the motion sensor light. I have the report number. I have the footage. But watching that freeze frame in the quiet dawn light, something else catches my attention. The Ford Bronco in the Vaughn driveway, visible in the background of the frame before he blocked the view. I bought that truck 2 years ago when Kalen claimed he needed reliable transportation for job interviews. $23,000. The title is in my name because his credit was garbage. The insurance comes out of my account every month, $162 that I've paid 24 times now. He's been driving my truck. Alara shuffles into the kitchen, hair messy from sleep. The burn scar on her arm is healing but still angry pink. She doesn't ask why I'm up so early anymore. She knows. "Morning, baby." I close my laptop. "Want some pancakes?" "Just cereal." She pours herself a bowl, and we eat in comfortable silence. This is our new normal. Quiet mornings. No drama. No relatives showing up unannounced, because I finally got that restraining order after the party incident. But the restraining order doesn't cover my property. After Alara leaves for school, I pull up Kevin's number. He runs a towing company, helped me when my CRV broke down last year. Honest guy. Doesn't ask unnecessary questions. "Kevin?" "Marissa Lewis. I need a truck towed from an address. It's mine. Title's in my name." "No problem. What time?" 6 a.m. tomorrow, before anyone's awake. I text him the Vaughn address and the Bronco's plate number. Then I pour fresh coffee and open my banking app. That automatic payment to their landlord? Canceled 3 weeks ago. The utility payment? Gone. Every subscription I was covering? Done. My phone stays quiet until 9:32 a.m. Then Kalen's call comes through. I let it go to voicemail, watching the notification light blink. When I play it back, his voice is shaking with rage. "That's my truck. You can't just take it. I need that to get to job interviews." The last part almost makes me laugh. Job interviews. Right. You're a vindictive witch, you know that? I'm calling the cops. I forward the voicemail to Jennifer Morgan, my attorney. Her response comes back in 2 minutes. Beautiful. He just admitted he's been using your property. Want me to respond? Please. Jennifer's email to Kaylin is 3 sentences. Professional, cold, devastating. Per the title and registration, the 2022 Ford Bronco belongs to Miss Lewis. She may dispose of her property as she sees fit. Check the paperwork. I imagine his face reading that. The moment he realizes he has no legal ground to stand on. The truck is mine. Always has been. That small victory carries me through the rest of the day. Alara comes home from school talking about her art class, and I actually listen instead of checking my phone every 30 seconds for the next family crisis. We make dinner together, watch a movie, go to bed at a reasonable hour. The doorbell camera alert wakes me at 2:13 a.m. I grab my phone from the nightstand, heart already racing. The camera shows Kaylin on my front porch. He's swaying. Drunk. His fist pounds on my door hard enough that the camera shakes. Marissa! His voice slurs. Open up. We need to talk. I'm already dialing 911 when I hear Alara's door open. Mom? Her voice is small, scared. Get in my room. Now. I meet her in the hallway and pull her into my bedroom. She crawls into my bed while I stay by the door, phone in one hand, finger hovering over the record button for the doorbell's audio feature. Kaylin pounds again. I know you're in there. You think you're so smart? Taking my truck? Calling the cops on me? His voice rises to a shout. I'll burn this house down with you in it. My blood goes cold. Those exact words, captured on visual voicemail, recorded on the doorbell camera. 911. What's your emergency? My brother is on my front porch making threats. He's violating his bail conditions and threatening to burn my house down. The dispatcher's voice is calm. Is he armed? I don't know. I can't see his hands clearly on the camera. Officers are on the way. Stay inside. Don't open the door. Alara is crying softly behind me. I look back and see her curled up in my closet, surrounded by my shoes and hanging clothes. Hiding. Like she did the night her uncle burned her gift. 7 minutes. That's how long it takes for the sirens to arrive. 7 minutes of Kaylin pounding and shouting. 7 minutes of my daughter reliving her trauma. 7 minutes of me recording every word while standing between him and her. When the red and blue lights flash through my bedroom window, Kaylin tries to run. I watch on my phone as 2 officers tackle him on my front lawn. Watch as they cuff him. Watch as they load him into the back of the squad car. An officer knocks on my door. Miss Lewis? It's safe now. I go downstairs and open the door, showing him my phone with the footage. The threats, the pounding, the visual voicemail, with his exact words about burning down my house. He's violating his bail conditions, the officer says. This is also terroristic threats. He's not getting out this time. After they leave, I find Alara still in my closet. I sit on the floor beside her and pull her close. Is he gone? She whispers. He's gone. He's not coming back. The next morning, my phone rings. Jennifer. Kaylin was remanded in custody pending a bail hearing. The judge saw the doorbell footage and the visual voicemail. You got this, don't worry, he doesn't stand a chance. Good. There's more. I'm filing additional harassment charges. This supports our case for the permanent restraining order. I hang up and stare at my laptop. The Bronco is in an impound lot. I could sell it, get back some of what I've lost, but that feels too easy, too transactional. Instead, I call the local vocational school, the one that teaches automotive repair to at-risk kids. I'd like to donate a vehicle to your program. 3 days later, I receive photos via email. Students in coveralls standing next to the Bronco, smiling, learning. The donation receipt arrives with the tax write-off paperwork. Not as much as I paid, but more valuable than anything I'd get from a sale. The local domestic violence shelter calls that afternoon. They've been following Kaylin's case. They want to offer support resources, counseling for Alara, legal advocacy, a network of people who understand what it means to escape. I take their card, pin it to my refrigerator next to Alara's latest drawing. My phone buzzes, a voicemail from Deirdre. I almost delete it, but Jennifer said to save everything. Marissa, my mother's voice is desperate. We have nowhere to go. The eviction is in 5 days. Your father's trying to find work, but we need help. We're your parents. You can't just abandon us. I save the voicemail, forward it to Jennifer, then I block the number. That night, while Elara does homework at the kitchen table, another call comes in. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. It's a storage unit company. They're looking for Arlo Vaughn. His unit has been abandoned for 6 months. Unpaid. They're auctioning the contents next week. I call them back. This is Marissa Lewis. Arlo Vaughn is my father. What's in the unit? Furniture. Boxes. Looks like household items. Are you paying the back rent? No, auction it. Because that's the pattern, isn't it? They've been living beyond their means long before I started funding their lifestyle. The cruises while I paid their rent. The new cars while I covered Kaylin's bail. The storage unit they couldn't afford while demanding I support them. I was never helping. I was enabling. Jennifer calls again the next morning. The extended family is asking questions. Your Aunt Cheryl called my office. What did you tell her? That you have no comment. But Marissa? They're starting to see the truth. The eviction. The arrests. The storage unit. They're connecting the dots. I hang up and look at Elara. She's drawing again, for the first time since the fire, her hand moving across the paper with confidence. The ATM is permanently out of service. And I'm never opening for business again. Day 29 of the eviction notice, and my email inbox chimes with a sound I used to dread. Deirdre's name appears on the screen, and my finger hovers over the delete button. But Jennifer told me to save everything, so I open it. The subject line reads, "Please, just listen." 2 photos load first. Me at 7, Kaylin barely 3, both of us on a backyard swing set. Another one from some Christmas, Kaylin opening presents, while I help him tear the wrapping paper. The email itself is short. These were happier times, weren't they? Before you turned your back on us. I wonder what Elara would think if she knew what kind of person her mother really is. I still have yours and Elara's social security numbers from when we did your taxes, remember? Think about what you're doing to this family. I read it twice. The threat is clear enough. Identity theft wrapped in a blanket of guilt and nostalgia. I forward it to Jennifer with a single line. Is this what I think it is? Her response comes back in under 5 minutes. Oh, this is beautiful. Screenshot everything. This helps us significantly. I don't feel beautiful. I feel tired. But I screenshot the email, save the photos with timestamps, and add it to the folder labeled Evidence that now contains 47 items. The emergency hearing for the permanent restraining order happens 3 days later in a courtroom that smells like floor polish and old paper. Jennifer sits beside me at the plaintiff's table, her burgundy blazer sharp and professional. Across the aisle, my parents have some public defender who looks fresh out of law school. Kaylin appears on the video screen from county jail, orange jumpsuit stark against the white wall behind him. His hair is shorter than I remember, and there are dark circles under his eyes. He looks at the camera with the same entitled expression he's worn his whole life. Judge Patricia Williams is in her 60s, gray hair pulled back, reading glasses perched on her nose. She's reviewing the evidence packet Jennifer submitted. Videos of the birthday party, the hospital report with photos of Elara's burn, transcripts of Deirdre's voicemails. The email with its thinly veiled threats. Mr. and Mrs. Vaughn, Judge Williams says without looking up. I've reviewed the Child Protective Services report. It confirms that your grandson's actions constituted child endangerment, and that you, as adults present, failed to intervene or seek medical attention for the minor. Deirdre starts to speak, but the public defender touches her arm. She ignores him. Your Honor, we're her parents. Marissa is overreacting to a simple accident. Kaylin didn't mean any harm. That jacket was practically garbage anyway, and Elara shouldn't have been so sensitive about. Mrs. Vaughn. The judge's voice cuts through the courtroom like a blade. Your son threw a child's handmade gift into a fire. When that child attempted to retrieve it, she sustained second-degree burns requiring emergency medical treatment. Your response was to tell her to stop making a scene. Is that your testimony? My mother's mouth opens and closes. Beside her, my father stares at his hands. Judge Williams looks at the screen where Kaylin sits. Mr. Vaughn, you were arrested for making terroristic threats against your sister. The doorbell camera footage shows you intoxicated at 4 a.m. First, then once again threatening to burn down her house with her and her daughter inside. Do you dispute these facts? Kaylin shrugs. I was drunk. People say stupid stuff when they're drunk. People say what they mean when they're drunk. Judge Williams responds. She removes her reading glasses and looks directly at him through the screen. They just lose the filter that usually stops them from saying it out loud. She picks up another document. I'm also reviewing an email sent by Mrs. Vaughn containing what appears to be a threat to misuse hers and her daughter's social security numbers. Mrs. Vaughn. Did you send this email? Deirdre's face goes pale. I was upset. I wasn't actually going to. Answer the question. Did you send it? Yes, but... Thank you. Judge Williams makes a note on the paperwork in front of her. She looks at me for the first time, and her expression softens slightly. Miss Lewis, I'm issuing a comprehensive restraining order valid for 5 years. The defendants are prohibited from any contact with you or your daughter. That includes phone calls, emails, text messages, social media contact, or third-party communication. They must maintain a distance of at least 500 feet from your residence, your daughter's school, and your workplace. Relief washes over me, but I keep my face neutral. Jennifer squeezes my hand under the table. Your Honor, that's excessive, the public defender tries. These are her parents. Surely some level of contact. Counsel, your clients have demonstrated a pattern of financial exploitation, emotional manipulation, and most recently, threats of identity theft. The mother witnessed her son burn a child and told that child she was making a scene. I see no evidence that contact with these individuals serves any beneficial purpose for Miss Lewis or her minor daughter. The gavel comes down with a sharp crack that echoes through the courtroom. Outside, Jennifer walks me to my car. The air is cold, and I pull my coat tighter. The prosecutor received your documentation about Kaylin's threats. She says, he's been offered a plea deal, 18 months in state prison instead of risking 5 years at trial. His attorney is recommending he take it. Will he? Someone looking at potential 5 years versus guaranteed 18 months? Yes, he'll take it. I unlock my car but don't get in yet. What about the social security numbers thing? I'm helping you place fraud alerts on all your credit reports today. The permanent credit freeze you already have stays in place for both you and Alara. We're also updating your power of attorney documents to explicitly exclude any family members. Your will gets revised to remove them as beneficiaries, and your life insurance beneficiary changes to a trust for Alara. She hands me a folder. Everything you need is in here. Sign where the tabs are, and bring it to my office tomorrow. That evening, a package arrives. No return address, but the postmark is from the vocational school across town. Inside is a framed photograph showing 3 students in coveralls working on the Bronco's engine. The truck looks good, better than when Kaylin had it. There's a small plaque at the bottom of the frame, donated by Marissa Lewis, in support of students who work for their future. I hang it in the hallway, right where I'll see it every morning. A reminder that resources go to people who work, not people who take. Later, I open my banking app and set up an automatic monthly transfer, $2,300, the exact amount I used to waste on my parents' rent and utilities. It goes straight into Alara's college trust fund. The ATM is permanently out of service, but the vault is now open for people who matter. 6 months have passed since that night in the emergency room, and I'm standing in my kitchen watching Alara flip pancakes with her 2 best friends. The burn scar on her forearm catches the morning light, faded but visible. She doesn't hide it anymore. Mom, can we make chocolate chip ones next? Alara asks, waving the spatula like a conductor's baton. Only if you don't set off the smoke alarm again, I say. The 3 girls dissolve into giggles. 6 months ago, the sound of the gas stove clicking to life would send Alara running from the room. Dr. Williams says that's what healing looks like. Not perfect, but functional. Mrs. Rodriguez appears at the back door with a basket of fresh strawberries from her garden. She's become what Deirdre never was, a grandmother figure who shows up without expecting payment. I heard pancakes, she says, letting herself in. Hope you made enough for one more. The kitchen table is covered in art supplies. Alara's been working on a new jacket design, this one for herself. Bold strokes of crimson and gold, nothing timid about it. The art therapy started as treatment. Now it's just who she is. Later that morning, I find the envelope in the mailbox. Plain white, Deirdre's handwriting on the front. No return address, but I recognize the slant of her letters. I take it to the fireplace and read it once. Just once. She writes about hardship, about living in her cousin's basement 3 states away, about Arlo working as a grocery bagger at 65, coming home with aching feet. She doesn't apologize. She never does. Instead, she explains how difficult things are, how they're barely surviving, how family should help family. The manipulation is so familiar it almost makes me laugh. I drop the letter into the fireplace and watch the paper curl and blacken. The flames consume her words the same way they consumed Ilara's jacket all those months ago. But this time, there's no screaming. No desperate attempt to save what's burning, just release. That evening, our chosen family gathers around my dining table, Harrison and his wife Diane, Mrs. Rodriguez, with her famous empanadas. We started these monthly dinners 3 months ago, and they've become the kind of tradition I actually want to keep. Ilara's birthday is next week, Diane says, passing the salad. Have you thought about what she wants? She made a registry at the art supply store, I say. No homemade gifts required. Harrison laughs. He's been my boss for 8 years, but somewhere along the way he became family, the kind that doesn't send bills. 2 days later, I'm standing in a youth art gallery watching strangers admire my daughter's work. The piece is titled Phoenix Rising. It's a denim jacket, painted to look like it's emerging from flames. The symbolism isn't subtle, but Ilara's 12. Subtle can wait. She stands beside her work with her shoulders back, explaining her technique to a woman with a gallery badge. The confidence radiating from her makes my chest ache in the best way. My phone buzzes in my purse. I pull it out and see the caller ID. State Correctional Facility. Collect call. Kaylin. I show the screen to Ilara. She glances at it, then back at the crowd around her artwork. I don't need to talk to him, she says. I'm busy being happy. I press decline and block the facility's number. Right there in the gallery, with people milling around us, I cut the last thread. That night, I sit on the back deck with my journal. Fairy lights glow overhead, the same kind that hung at Kaylin's birthday party. But these are mine, strung by my own hands, lighting a space where manipulation isn't welcome. I write, a year ago I was an ATM. Today, I'm a mother. Beside me, Ilara paints on a fresh canvas. Her brushstrokes are confident, certain, Mrs. Rodriguez's music drifts from next door, something soft and Spanish that makes the evening feel complete. This is what freedom looks like. Not dramatic or explosive, just peaceful. I add one final line to my journal entry. The ATM is permanently out of service. Ilara glances over at what I've written and grins. Good, she says. We never needed them anyway. Sad. She's right. We didn't. Have you ever had to choose between family and your child's safety? Sometimes love means letting go. What would you have done?